Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Lamb, sitting in for David Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's top stories. The president's son, Hunter Biden, faces a 9-count indictment in California. If convicted, he could get up to 17 years in prison. Some in the Jewish community say they're toning down Hanukkah celebrations this year. This is amid safety concerns. Money for prisoners? That's what California has approved. The stipends will cover living expenses after prisoners are released. First up, Hunter Biden's tax woes just got bigger after special counsel David Weiss hit him with a 56-page indictment late Thursday. It's the second indictment against Biden in 3 months. NTD's legal correspondent Arlene Richards reviews the highlights and the reactions.
The president's son, Hunter Biden, is facing a 9-count indictment that includes 3 felony charges and 6 misdemeanors. The indictment, filed by special counsel David Weiss on Thursday, accuses the younger Biden of engaging in a 4-year scheme to not pay at least $1.4 million in federal taxes from 2016 to 2019, while spending millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle. According to the indictment, he spent his money on drugs, escorts and girlfriends, luxury hotels and rental properties, exotic cars, clothing, and other items of a personal nature. It says, in short, everything but his taxes. Hunter's lavish spending was at its highest in 2018, reaching $1.8 million. His 4-year spending spree included over $600,000 in payments to various women, $397,000 on clothes and accessories, and more than $180,000 in adult entertainment. Hunter Biden admitted to a crack cocaine addiction in his recent memoir. The indictment says he described his drug use in 2018 as 24 hours a day, smoking every 15 minutes, 7 days a week. In 2021, he spoke to CBS News about that experience.
I spent more time on my hands and knees, picking through rugs, smoking anything that even remotely resembled crack cocaine.
Special counsel Weiss says Hunter Biden made millions of dollars from foreign entities, including business dealings in Ukraine, Romania, and China, and that in 2018 he continued to earn handsomely and to, quote, spend wildly. Hunter Biden's attorney, Abby Lowell, said Thursday that if Hunter's last name was anything other than Biden, the charges would not have been brought. Lowell accuses Weiss of bowing to Republican pressure. Hunter's business dealings are at the center of a House probe into President Biden's involvement in his son's foreign business ventures. Republicans on Thursday released a resolution to further their impeachment investigation of the elder Biden. On Friday, some House members argued for fast-tracking the floor vote on the resolution in light of the recent indictment. Representative Jason Smith told Roll Call, these charges further confirm the need for Congress to move forward with an impeachment inquiry of Joe Biden in order to uncover all the facts for the American people to judge. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer attributed the new charges to the bravery of 2 IRS whistleblowers. The 2 agents, Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler, testified that the Department of Justice made decisions that benefited the president's son. Comer said the agents put their careers on the line to reveal misconduct and politicization during the probe, and that the DOJ got caught in its attempts to shield the younger Biden. Arlene Richards, NTD News.
Now let's take a look at other national headlines.
Law enforcement revealed new details in the Las Vegas campus shooting. Police say 67-year-old Anthony Polito had a criminal record for a computer crime. UNLV students were not the main target of the attack, according to law enforcement, but the exact motive is unclear. Investigators say the suspect mailed over 20 letters to university employees across the country before the shooting and had a list of people he was seeking on the UNLV campus and at East Carolina University, where he once taught. Police say they also found a document similar to a will at the suspect's residence, but haven't released its contents. And today in Michigan, 17-year-old Ethan Crumbley was sentenced to life in prison without parole. The court heard victim testimony on Friday, 2 years after Ethan Crumley fatally shot 4 students and injured 7 others in 2021. Crumley, then 15 years old, walked into Oxford High School on the morning of November 30th, 2021, with a gun in his backpack. He's being charged with killing 16-year-old Tate Meyer, 16-year-old Justin Schilling, 14-year-old Hannah Juliana, and 17-year-old Madison Baldwin. He pleaded guilty in October 2022 to 24 counts, including 4 counts of first-degree murder. Crumley said in court today he knows he has hurt many people and plans to be better. Over to college campuses. Ivy League universities facing backlash over campus anti-Semitism are now facing repercussions. A prominent rabbi and anti-Semitism advisor at Harvard, David Wolpe, resigned yesterday, citing painfully inadequate testimony from Harvard President Claudine Gay. He also says the system at Harvard and its ideology grip far too many students and faculty. Wolpe says the ideology works only along axis of oppression. He argues that portraying Jews as oppressors and inherently evil is wrong and makes the entire ideology evil. Major UPenn donor Ross Stevens says he's withdrawing a $100 million donation. His attorney says it's because UPenn violated the firm's limited partnership agreement. Stevens' lawyers say the university failed to meet its anti-discrimination and harassment rules. He mentioned UPenn President Liz McGill's recent testimony when she said calls for genocide violate policy based on the context and whether they were directed, pervasive, and severe. The board of UPenn's Wharton Business School is now calling for McGill's resignation.
Some Hanukkah events and Christmas ceremonies were celebrated quietly this year amid the ongoing war in the Middle East and related protests. California's governor and others cited security concerns, afraid of attracting unwanted attention. Some traditions were celebrated more quietly this holiday season in the U.S. Many Jewish communities say they want to stay under the radar in fear of protests relating to the Israel-Hamas war and anti-Semitism. Hanukkah, an 8-day Jewish festivity to celebrate light over darkness, began Thursday, but many say they will not decorate the exterior of their homes or businesses. Hanukkah House in Texas said it would be toning down its display lights to only white this year. And a New Orleans brewery also canceled its Hanukkah bake-off event, citing external tensions. Here's what Rabbi Abraham Cooper told NTD.
We are talking about fundamental religious freedoms here, but also uniquely in the United States, because the Jewish festival of Hanukkah that celebrates the victory of a few over many thousands of years ago in the land of Israel, and the other festival for Christians happen to coincide in the same month. The theme of Hanukkah is light over darkness.
In California, the state's annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony with children with disabilities was rescheduled and went virtual this year.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy holidays!
The governor's office cited safety and security concerns amid protests. Pro-Palestinian protesters had planned a rally at the Capitol for the lighting event, hoping to speak to the governor. And on Wednesday morning, protesters at the Golden Gate Bridge hoisted a Palestinian flag right under a U.S. flag. It's been 2 months since the October 7th attack, when Hamas terrorists attacked civilians in Gaza and Israel returned fire. David Lamb, NTD News, California. California prisoners can now get stipends to cover basic living expenses after they are released. This is on top of allowing them to earn a master's degree while in prison.
Hundreds of Californians released from prisons could receive direct cash payments of $2,400, along with counseling, job search assistance, and other support. This comes under a first-in-the-nation program aimed at easing the transition out of incarceration and reducing recidivism. Governor Gavin Newsom's Workforce Development Board is providing a $6.9 million grant to boost community-based organizations and expand so-called re-entry services for the formerly incarcerated. About $2 million of that will go directly to ex-inmates in the form of cash payments totaling about $2,400 each. According to the Center for Employment Opportunities that is partnering with the board, recipients will get the money over a series of payments after meeting certain milestones, such as showing progress in finding places to live and work. In a statement, the center said, "It will streamline CEO and our partners' ability to provide direct cash payments and critical employment services, including immediate work with daily pay, career training, and wraparound support when people need it most." This is in addition to another effort to allow the incarcerated to earn a master's degree in prison. California State University, Dominguez Hills, and the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation announced a partnership in August. A select 33 people residing in 11 different state prisons may earn their master's degrees.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come right back. Billboards and flyers advertising so-called sanctuary cities are mysteriously appearing near the U.S. Mexico border. What are the intentions of the group behind the ads? Time magazine names Taylor Swift as their Person of the Year for 2023. We'll have more on why she was granted the title. And preparations are underway for this year's Rose Parade in Southern California. We'll take a peek at the behind-the-scenes work for one of the floats. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Lamb. Ads targeting immigrants that tout San Francisco, New York, and Chicago as sanctuary cities have been seen near the Texas-Mexico border. Someone claiming to be with the group behind them says they want to inform immigrants which cities are open to having them. NTD's Jason Blair has more.
Billboards and flyers have been spotted in Texas near the U.S. Mexico border, touting San Francisco, New York, and Chicago as sanctuary cities.
These are cities.
Will Osborne, who claims to be part of the organization behind the ads, told CBS 4 they aren't political and, quote, "It's more of a blanket statement just pointing people to the direction of it. These are cities that, through their policies and ordinances, have indicated that this is the place to be if you're undocumented." The billboards show landmarks in the advertised city, and in the bottom corner it says it welcomes immigrants. In October, flyers were found near the Texas-Mexico border saying, quote, "Welcome new immigrants, United States Sanctuary City Guide." Inside it highlighted San Francisco, saying the city has sanctuary city laws, lax shoplifting laws, health care, and diverse and tolerant people. The ad says they were paid for by sanctuarycities.com. The website is small and defines a sanctuary city as, quote, "a safe haven for immigrants like you, regardless of your immigration status." These cities have policies in place to limit their cooperation with the national government's effort to enforce immigration laws. This means you can live, work, and enjoy life with a lower risk of deportation. Osborne also told CBS 4, quote, "The cities that we're pointing to are those that welcome undocumented immigrants, even if you're homeless or have committed crimes." He also said he didn't know how long the ads would be up for and didn't comment on how much they cost. Jason Blair, NTD News.
In Oregon, a former pilot accused of trying to stop a plane mid-flight is now allowed to return home with conditions. He had been struggling with depression after a friend died and took drugs before the incident.
Former Alaska Airlines pilot Joseph Emerson was released from jail with conditions Thursday. He faces accusations of trying to cut the engines of a passenger flight and is still pending trial. Oregon's Multnomah County Circuit Court Judge Thomas Ryan made the decision as Emerson pleaded not guilty to reduced charges of reckless endangerment. He previously faced attempted murder charges. Emerson of Pleasant Hill, California, has also pleaded not guilty to a federal charge of interfering with a flight crew. The judge in that case also agreed that he could be released pending trial. The release conditions include that Emerson undergo mental health services, stay away from drugs and alcohol, and not come within 30 feet of an operable aircraft. His bail was set at $50,000, and he had to post 10% of that, or $5,000, to be released. Emerson was released from jail around 5 p.m. and shared a tearful embrace with his wife as he walked out. She said she was glad the case raised awareness about pilot mental health. His lawyer said the couple planned to drive home to California.
Now shifting our focus to the world of soccer. Excitement is brewing as Copa America 2024 draws near. NTD's Carlos Reyes has more on the story.
Defending Copa America champions Argentina and South American heavyweights Brazil were drawn in favorable groups for next year's edition on December 7th, while the United States, as hosts, will come up against 15-time winners Uruguay. Next year's Copa America, organized by the South American Confederation, otherwise known as CONMEBOL, will also feature 6 invited teams from the CONCACAF region. It will be the second time that South America's most important national team tournament will be held in the U.S. after the special commemorative edition in 2016, which also featured 6 CONCACAF teams in the tournament. World Cup winners Argentina kick off the tournament at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia on June 20th with a Group A matchup against Canada or Trinidad and Tobago, who will meet in a CONCACAF playoff in March. Argentina will also face Peru and Chile in a rematch of the 2016 Centenary Edition final, where Lionel Messi's side lost on penalties in the first tournament played on U.S. soil. 9-time winners Brazil, runners-up at the previous tournament, have been drawn in Group D with Colombia and Paraguay, as well as another CONCACAF qualifier, that being either Honduras or Costa Rica. The U.S. will face Bolivia and Panama in their first 2 Group C matches before taking on heavy hitters Uruguay, who are tied with Argentina for the most Copa titles with 15. The Americans are hoping to improve on their best result in the tournament following their top 4 finish in 2016. CONCACAF Gold Cup winners Mexico are in Group B alongside Jamaica, Venezuela, and Ecuador. Carlos Reyes, NTD News.
Taylor Swift was crowned Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2023, celebrating her unprecedented achievements in music, film, and global impact. NTD's Stephanie Sakal reports.
Taylor Swift concludes the year as Time Magazine's Person of the Year for 2023, surpassing Barbie and King Charles III. Recognized for her ability to seamlessly merge art and commerce, Swift's impact is viewed as historic, Time magazine said. They described her as a source of hope globally during challenging times and recognized Swift's ability to connect with people. In an interview, Swift expresses immense gratitude, citing this period as the happiest and most creatively fulfilling of her life. She also expresses profound satisfaction and openness about her relationship with Travis Kelce, her support at NFL games, and the monumental success of the Eras Tour, grossing $2.2 billion in North American ticket sales. The concert film Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour broke records with a $96 million opening weekend, while Swift dominates streaming, breaking her own Spotify record and achieving the most streamed album in a single day for 1989, Taylor's version. Stephanie Sakal, NTD News.
A Southern California organ donation group is letting families get a preview of their float for New Year's Day. NTD's Christina Corona had the opportunity to see the float and meet some of the donor recipients.
Onelegacy is known to save and heal lives through organ, eye, and tissue donation. And today, they're unveiling their 2024 Rose Parade float.
This is an opportunity where we bring our honorees that are local here in Southern California. We have our donor families, we have the recipients, and we also have the living donors. And they come for the first time all together and they see the float.
The theme this year is Woven Together, the Dance of Life.
You know, it's our history, our stories, our triumph, our tragedy that brings us together, but it's the support of one another that weaves us together. And what we were able to do today is have this float that is representative of the Hopi tribe, and that is a Native American float. And we had some of the indigenous people of that float to really be represented.
The float includes memorial floragraphs made of natural seeds and spices, honoring life-giving organ, eye, and tissue donors.
We have 30 Florograph donors this year, and we were able to have the families of those loved ones accompanied here today, seeing their loved ones Florograph.
We got to speak to an organ recipient who was 12 years old when he needed his transplant.
I battled for 6 months with chemo, got a resection, and we found out later that I was going to need a liver transplant. I was on the waiting list for a very short amount of time, and a couple months after I'd been put on the list, I received my liver. I would hope to get in contact with my donor family at any point and just to let them know, their loss, is a gift of life to someone else, a second chance.
We also heard from several family members of life-giving donors who will be honored on the 2024 float.
Carrie is a donor of tissue. Unfortunately, she was not able to donate any organs, but she was a tissue donor. She donated 29 tissues, and 26 of them have been transplanted already, along with her left cornea.
This is my late husband, Paul Eskeldson, who suffered a very sudden and what proved to be fatal brain injury driving home from work. And Paul was able to donate his heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, corneas, and bone, skin, and tissue. He saved 4 people's lives on December 30th, 2017.
On January 1st, the donor recipients will be the riders on the float, and those walking in front of the float are the living donors that gave the gift of life. Christina Corona, NTD News, Irwindale.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Lamb, in for David Zhang. Have a wonderful weekend.